here it is at last, the Helios Tarot forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, iamhelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours. There's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it. And here it is, Taurus, your 5-card Helios spread for the month of December. As you may know, this is a condensed Golden Dawn spread, which uses 15 cards. In this case, we have 5 to the same results. Or a similar result, we'll say. We have a central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options to choose from, past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, that which most adequately embodies the whole story arc of this tarot spread, kind of a snapshot of your current situation, is the Adjustment card, a major arcana card. So this symbolizes a time where perhaps a karmic debt must be paid, balance must be restored, and this can happen in a number of ways. In every case, this comes up to outline a simple dichotomy between accepting, choosing, embracing the change, initiating the change, or needing to be acted upon, needing to be changed. So change is coming, balance will be restored, and you merely have to choose whether or not you're on board. If you are not on board, then the train sort of rolls over you, so you don't want that to happen. So the way to address this situation most appropriately would be according to these 2-dimensional timeline options. On the one hand, you have the Ace of Discs, which represents a purely materialistic approach. In this case, it's the primordial essence of Earth, which is all things relating to resources and finances, and also health and physicality in general. So this is extremely down to earth, quite mundane, getting your hands dirty, and really going through the motions that may seem rather boring, rather tedious and daunting, about the things that work at a foundational level, so you can build some of your loftier ambitions with confidence. The other side, you have the 3 of Swords. Now, all 3s in tarot are associated with Binah on the Tree of Life, which is it's associated with the left hemisphere of the brain, so processed wisdom, deductive reasoning, rationality and logic and so on. And as manifest through swords, through air in this case, this is actually the consequence of indecision. So this is not really knowing what to do. So rather than just simply doing what needs to be done, this includes the element of not really wanting to, and the result of which is some kind of consequence, something not quite working out. Perhaps you don't act fast enough. So this is implying that there's a great need for you to jump on board immediately and start doing the work that is necessary. You know what it is. It's probably precisely what you're avoiding. So whether this is financial matters, perhaps it has to do with your health, perhaps some addictions must be managed, some resources must be kept in check a little bit, some of your perhaps compulsive spending, if that's the case, we can use this as an example, perhaps some of that needs to be reined in. Maybe you need to start looking at the numbers, go back and check your bank account. There are a number of ways that this can apply to you. This is a very general reading applying to everyone who shares your sun sign, so it's really up to you to determine the way in which this most accurately applies. So this is all inspired by the 10 of Wands in your past. All 10s are associated with the final spirit on the Tree of Life, Malkuth, the final culmination of each respective element. In this case, this is fire. So this is actually being burnt, so being exhausted. It's the karmic result of playing with fire. And this is often called the card of oppression. There's some kind of situation that gets out of hand and it reaches its combustion point. So you have to manage that. It represents a rather dire situation. So something needs attention. Of course, that's implied. That's implied by the Adjustment card. Something needs to return to balance. And I think you know what it is. You should be quite clear about that. If you're not clear about that, ask somebody you know. Ask somebody who knows you really well and knows your situation. What you should probably be focusing on. Where your attention should be turned. And they'll probably guide you in the right direction because it should be quite obvious. If not to you, then someone who's quite close to you. So in your fate section, that which is destined to occur, if we want to see how this is all going to play out, whether or not you're on board, we look to this card. And you have the 8 of Cups. So all 8s in tarot are associated with Hod on the Tree of Life, which is actually action taken from surrender or acceptance. So this implies that you have to accept your responsibility and therefore are going to accept your responsibility, so it's quite promising. But the experience of this may not always seem so, because as manifests through water in this case, this is stagnation. Everything just kind of getting to the point where you're extremely bored. It's a very old energy, very old situation that you're quite ready to move on from, and especially by this point. You're already feeling this now, but by the time this card becomes most relevant, it will become the biggest priority, the most obvious situation, the most obvious situation that must be addressed immediately. So this is likely the point at which you would do so, that you would begin moving on, in which case this suggests that New Year's resolutions may in fact come from a very genuine place. You may be very, very ready to move on, very ready to make some necessary changes occur, start actualizing some of your intentions, start implementing some strategies that may allow that to truly happen over the next year. So it's quite promising. I know the situation that's revealed here may seem a little bit daunting at first, maybe a little disconcerting, we could say, but I wouldn't see it that way at all. This is a call to work. You have to start doing some of the tedious work that perhaps you've been avoiding, and you can see precisely which life areas are in need of attention based on what you're avoiding. What you feel you don't want to do is likely what you should do right now, and that doesn't always sound nice, but in this case it's leading to something quite good. There's the promise of moving on from old energy that's no longer serving you, and that in itself should be a rather welcome idea, especially after whatever ordeal led up to this 10 of Wands in your past. So you want some renewal, rejuvenation. It's happening just on the other side of this, so long as you take this opportunity. The degree to which this will benefit you and be profitable will be the degree to which you accept responsibility and start doing the work that you've been avoiding. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. As you can see, there is some degree of inevitability here. There is also the possibility of delay, though, we have to suggest, because the Three of Swords experience the consequence of indecision may not be too problematic in itself, but it would simply delay the point at which you would move on from the ultimate fate here, the Eight of Cups. So that would be perhaps the experience of sorrow that prolongs the feeling of being bored, of being stuck, of being lodged in some really old mechanics that no longer function, that are no longer relevant to your current situation. So there's really nothing to worry about. It's just simply time to start applying the lubrication that'll start freeing you up, empowering you to move on with confidence and with grace when the time comes. And that about wraps this up, so thank you for listening to this. You might want to contact me for a personal reading of some kind. You can gain clarity, certainty, and confidence regarding a big decision, the nature of a personal relationship, family dynamics, general complications or opportunities, and so on. I can help you simplify extremely complex matters into something workable, something you can base otherwise difficult decisions upon, and something you can trust, so you can put your mind at ease and get back to living. And maybe you want to uncover the complexities of your inner circuitry, really getting to know the way you truly operate, so you can pick and choose the kinds of strategies, partners, and environments that help you thrive and feel good and think straight. If any of that sounds good, trust me, you're going to want to check out my website, IamHelios.com, and discover what I can offer you there today. Thanks again.